Welcome to the shop. I'm Jeff from today's Craftsmen, and today we're going to look at the Lamello Zeta P2. The Lamello Zeta P2 is essentially a biscuit joiner, but it has a special feature where at the end of the cut, this blade here actually, it jumps up and down, and it cuts a slot that allows you to slide in these special connectors. So it works with a multitude of these P-system connectors from Lamello. And we could take you in, take a closer look at the features of the tool and sort of how you use it. Here we have the fence adjustment. So this adjusts at the various angles that you might use when you're cutting a connector. This, which you've probably seen on a biscuit joiner, is the depth adjustment. So you have from 0, size 0 biscuit, 10, 20, all the way up to your max size, and this will depend on what connector you're using. This is a 14 that they call, and this is a 10. So this corresponds to a 20, and this to a 10, or I'm sorry, a max and a 10. This is the adjustment for that little jump in the blade. So depending on what size, whether it's a 14 like this or a 10 like this, you'll change actually when that jump happens. Have your on-off switch here, your dust port here, and lastly on the bottom, you would loosen this, and this is how you access your blade to change blades. Let's set the machine up to cut this connector here. This is called a Clamex P14. This is a cam action connector. This little metal cam here that you turn with an Allen key, actually, it will pull these two connectors together. So put that to the side. We want to set the P-system depth stop here to 14. That will engage that little blade wiggle at the right point. And we want to set the cutting depth to max. So let's say we wanted to join these two pieces of MDF together. We just put our connector here in the middle, and we could use the base of the tool on the bench as our reference surface. So we'll turn on the machine, we can make both of these cuts, and we'll go back and I'll show you how we get our hole for this Allen key. Now we need to decide which side you want this hole to be on. In this situation, really doesn't matter. You know, you'll have to decide on your project where you want to hide this hole. Sometimes it could be on the bottom. You may be in a different orientation where you're able to hide it on the outside of a cabinet. So we'll put it in this side in this instance. Lamello provides this little jig. So this will go inside of your slot, and this will reference on whichever side you want the hole on. It can go on either side. So place it in there, make sure that this is adjusted down tight to the material. And they also provide this brad point drill bit with a stop collar. So you literally just drill in. So now that we have our hole drilled, we can start to put in the connectors. You want to make sure where you drilled your hole that you have this side up. If you put this side down, obviously you won't have access to turn this little cam. So the connectors go in from the side, and this little rib and the way that these are cut make it so that these can't pull out. So they go in, you know, this way, and they literally can't come out this direction. So put our pieces together. We'll leave it a little bit open so you could see how they get pulled together. Put in the Allen key, and there we go, nice and tight. That was how you cut the P14 Clamex. Let's take a look at how we cut the P14 Tenso. This is a snap together connector. I won't snap this because it's a little hard to get apart when it's, you know, just by itself here. So the setup here is the same. We're going to make sure that we're on 14 because it's a size 14 connector. and we want to be on max on our depth. This time around we'll use the fence, so we'll bring that down to 90 and lock it. Same idea here. We're going to be doing a butt joint, so we could just make a mark where we want those connectors to be, and we'll make these cuts. In this instance, we'll use the fence. You know, you don't always have a nice flat workbench to work off of. When we're building big cabinets, you might be out here, you know, off of the bench. So this is another good use for it. And because of the height here, I'm going to block these pieces up a little bit when I make the cut. So we'll just stick another scrap under there, and we can reference here. So we'll make these two cuts, and then we can put in our connectors. These go in the same way as the Clamex. All these connectors come in from the side. And this can be a little bit difficult sometimes, but you just push them together and they snap together like that. So there you have the very basics of the Lamello Zeta P2. You know, we barely scratched the surface on this. There's a lot of things that this can do. There's additional connectors and sizes. So we covered the Tenso and the Clamex. We use the Clamex a lot when we need to build cabinets that need to be disassembled to get them up to, you know, a third floor of a house. Sometimes you need to build things within walls. So it's really nice to have a strong way of connecting cabinet parts on site. We hope you liked it. We hope you learned something. If there's anything else that you'd like to see, let us know. And if you have any questions about the Zeta, leave them down in the comments.